because Goa was liberated in the early 60s and Konkani as a state language was recognized in the mid 60s. And at that time, his first short story was published. So it's a very significant period, and he is one of the architects of Goa, modern Goa, and also of Konkani language and literature. Now, I'll request Sri Mojo to kindly say something about his early period as a writer.
A very good morning to everybody here. Well, very difficult to talk about myself, but I'll just be brief. I was born when the Portuguese was ruling over Goa. Goa is today, it is the smallest, the tiniest state of our country. Very thinly, it is not thinly populated, but the population is very limited as compared to the rest of the states where people, the population of the states runs into crores. The population of Goa runs into few lakhs. But we are very proud to say that it is Goa where East meets the West. That is the reason the people flock to see Goa, to come to Goa as tourists, prefer also to stay in Goa. Well, the Goa has its own culture, its own civilization, its own people with a difference, and that is the reason why it is depicted in my writings and others' writings as well. So I was born in the 40s. I finished my secondary school education in Goa, in the nearby town, where I had to frequent by train. And then I moved on to Mumbai for my graduation and passed, I got my BCom degree from the renowned Podar College of Commerce and Economics. And then I returned to Goa, and meanwhile, soon after my secondary education, Goa was liberated. I don't think anybody need to tell you about the state of Goa, or the status of Goa which was prevailed then. It was a colony, liberated in 1961, and ever since 1961, we are a part of the mainstream Indian states.
Yes. Just one piece of information that Konkani is an Indo-European language family, belongs to
Indo-Aryan.
Yeah, Indo-Aryan language family. There are so many Sanskrit words in that language, and there are Ostic words also, like Munda words, and it's a very sweet language, a beautiful language, and there are, so many cultures have mixed in Goa, and it's a very, as you know, it's a very romantic place. People, young married people go to Goa for honeymoon, and in many Hindi films, you will see the romantic scenes. They are filmed in Goa only. But there is another side of the Goa life. There is another side, the life of the people. What is their economy? How they are passing their day-to-day life. Because honeymoon is for 1 day or 2 days or 3 days. And film shooting is for 24 days. But there are 60, 65 days in the calendar. So that life 65 days, that is lived by the people of Goa, the common people, that is depicted by Damodarji in his novels and short stories. Now, and another thing that is also very interesting, that he belongs to the Hindu culture. I don't say religion, he belongs to the Hindu culture. But in most of his short stories, in novels, the Christian life is depicted. So meticulously he has recorded his experiences of the Christian family. culture, all these things. Then I will request Mohanjoji to say something about his first book.
Well, I started writing in 1963. My first story was published in 63. I had the urge to write. That's why I wrote. We never wrote for any other reason, never for money. But then, yes, the urge did not stop me from writing. My language, Konkani, has suffered at the hands of history and also at the hands of geography. In 1510, when the Portuguese invaded, I don't say invaded also, but they captured Goa. And ever since then, out of scare of conversions first, the people of Goa ran away to other states. In exodus, in hundreds and thousands, they left the shores of Goa to land in the neighboring states of Kerala and Karnataka in Maharashtra. And thereafter, probably you are aware, I don't know how many of you are aware of the religious law of Inquisition, which was imposed in Goa for the first time in India. And Inquisition forced the neo converts to run away from Goa, and mostly they settled in the nearby Karnataka, state of Karnataka. So this is the fate of our people. Originally, they all belonged to the same civilization, same culture of Goa. But after the arrival of Portuguese and after the arrival of the missionaries, after the conversions, some of the people changed the religion to Christianity, but the people remained one. There were deliberate attempts to divide the people, to isolate one society from the other. But the Portuguese rulers, not the missionaries, succeeded in dividing the people. It's like supposing there is a flow of water, and if you hit with a stick, you cannot divide the water. The same way, the people of Goa, they belong to one culture, and whatever attempts that took place to divide them, nobody succeeded. Even today, I can say, the Goan people are known for the excellent harmony that prevails in the society. And I'm very proud of that. And this pride is depicted in my writings. I don't deliberately write about the Catholics. I live in a village which is predominantly a Catholic village. I am born in a Hindu family, but I never felt the othering factor, nor on my side, nor on the side of the people. By the way, for the information of my people who are gathered here, I am a shopkeeper by profession. I cannot claim that I am a writer by profession. Today I can say, but then that was a time when I passed out my exam and I joined my family business and I ran the shop in my town, rather it's a village, where I could meet the people day in and day out, understand them, I would converse them, I would share their pleasures, I would share in their sorrows. I frequented the church, not to attend the mass, but to attend the funerals or marriages. So social, give and take was an everyday affair. So I always felt one with my people. And that is the reason why you find the Catholic lifestyle is depicted in my writings. I'll just give an example. You see, it depends upon your upbringing. I'll give an example which I have shared often on podcast and other meetings. When I was born, when I was hardly 1 year old, my mother, before that I would say, my mother, I have a house and there is a small garden around the house, and she always tended in the morning, tended to the plants and the flowers growing there. And the road right in front of me around 100 and 200 meters away from my house is the church, main church. And the people go and come back and by the road, and everybody just hello one another. So there was one woman, one lady who was going to the church, and every day when she was crossing the road, she would say hello to my mom. And one day, it was a Sunday, the neighboring woman was going to the church, and she did not see my mom in the garden. On the way back from the church, she again did not see my mom, so she asked the people around, where is she? So somebody from the household told her that she is not well, she is having fever. So she entered the house to say hello to her, to ask about her. And then she heard a child crying inside. I'm talking about something that happened about 80 years back. And then she heard a child crying inside. So she asked, the neighboring woman asked, why is the child crying? Then she was told, the child's mother is sick, having fever, so she cannot breastfeed him because she is not fed with the milk and she doesn't accept other milk, so he's crying. So she said, bring him along, because this neighboring woman also had delivered a child earlier. So she asked for the child, and she breastfed him in the absence of the mother, and then the child was put to ease. So everything was okay. I did not know it. The child is me. And this, because that woman's daughters, they always called me Dudh Bhav, the milk brother. So I never knew why they are calling me milk brother. When I grew up, I came to know that I was fed by the Catholic woman. You can imagine that was the harmony that prevailed in Goa. Today you can't imagine the Hindu child is breastfed by a Catholic woman. We all know in principle that the milk is same. But then the social taboos, we never faced it. That is why I claim it that my parents were open-minded, they were inclusive-minded, and that is the reason why today you see what I write also is of the same kind. By the way, let me share with you, have you heard a song, My Name is Anthony Gonsalves? Yeah, so Anthony Gonsalves is my milk brother. So it was Anthony's mother that fed me as a child. So this is the reason why today you find me writing about the Catholic lifestyle or Catholic characters as my own people. That is the reason. Carmeline, the novel, you can know by the name Carmeline itself, the main protagonist woman is a Catholic.
Yes, yes. Two things. First thing is this, that when the foreign powers entered a particular land, they first take care of the political situation. They control the political scenario. And gradually, that is the cultural colonization. First political colonization, then cultural colonization. But what Damodarji said, the people were not divided. That is very important. And he has just given one example, how a Christian lady gave milk to him in his childhood. This is very important, and perhaps you know that there is a beautiful story by Mahashweta Devi, breastfeeder. In Bengali, it is Tonodaini. And the second important point you have raised, that is very important, that you are a shopkeeper by profession. It means that you know everyone, how much money, the purchaser has in his pocket, that you know, because that is the economy of the people, you know. From your shop, from your work experience. That is very important. That from his workplace, he gathered a lot of information. about the domestic situation, about the economy of the people, because the shop is a very important place in our economy. That is very important because people will purchase from there. Now, some say something about Carmelin because that's a very, very significant novel, not only in Konkani, but one of the best novels written in any Indian language. And the protagonist, a very poor woman. Her husband, he was a drunkard, alcoholic, and then she had to go to Kuwait for earning money. And the experience, a very bad experience there. Then somehow she managed to gather some money. Then how she changed the domestic life, or particularly of her daughter. That is very important, very significant. It has been translated in so many languages, more than 10 languages. And now, if you say something about that particular novel.
Thank you, Ram Kumar. As you rightly said, it is the economy that drives the people from place to place. During the Portuguese regime, most of the Goan man force would go out of